Alexander Pushkin was a famous Russian writer. He was born on June 6, 1799 in Moscow, Russia. Pushkin is often called the father of Russian literature. His works are still loved by people today, and his influence on Russian culture is very strong. Pushkin grew up in a noble family. His family was important, and they had a lot of money. But Pushkin did not always feel happy in his family. His father was often busy, and his mother spent much time in her room. However, Pushkin's grandmother was kind to him and took care of him. She told him many stories about Russian history and Russian people. These stories made Pushkin love the Russian language and its history. When Pushkin was a young boy, he went to a special school in St. Petersburg. There, he learned about many subjects including literature, history, and foreign languages. He was very good at learning languages. In school, he began to write poetry. His first poems were not very famous, but soon people began to notice his talent. When he was 15, Pushkin wrote his first big poem. It was called Ruslan and Lyudmila. This poem became very popular. People liked the way Pushkin used the Russian language. His poems were easy to understand, but they were also very beautiful. Pushkin used the Russian language in a way that had never been done before. He made it more alive and interesting. Pushkin's life was not always easy. He often had problems with the Russian government. At that time, the government did not like writers who spoke freely. They thought that writers could make people think bad things about the government. Pushkin was often in trouble with the government because of his writings. He was sent to live in a small village far from St. Petersburg, where he could not write about politics. This made Pushkin sad, but he did not stop writing. Pushkin wrote many poems during this time. Some of his most famous poems were about the Russian people and the Russian countryside. He wrote about the lives of common people and their feelings. He also wrote many love poems, and these are still very popular today. One of Pushkin's most famous works is his novel, Eugene Onegin. This book is very important in Russian literature. It tells the story of a man named Eugene Onegin, who is rich and smart but very lonely. Onegin does not care for other people's feelings, and he loses his chance for love and happiness. This novel shows how people sometimes make mistakes and regret them later. It is a sad story, but it also teaches lessons about life. Pushkin's writing was not only about love and sadness. He also wrote stories about adventure and mystery. One of his famous works is a short story called The Queen of Spades. It is about a man who is greedy and tries to cheat in a game of cards. The story is exciting, and it shows the dangers of greed. Pushkin loved Russian history and often wrote about it. He wanted to show how important the history of Russia was and how it shaped the people. His historical stories are full of action, heroes, and strong emotions. One of his famous historical plays is Boris Godunov. This play is about a Russian Tsar who becomes king in a very difficult time. He faces many problems and struggles to keep his power. Pushkin's work was loved by many people in Russia. He had many fans, but he also had many enemies. Some people did not like what he wrote and tried to stop him. In his lifetime, Pushkin faced many difficult situations because of his writing. But even when things were hard, Pushkin kept writing. Unfortunately, Pushkin's life ended very tragically. He was involved in a fight with another man over his wife. The fight was about honor, and Pushkin was injured in the duel. He later died from his wounds on February 10, 1837, at the age of 37. People in Russia were very sad. Many felt that Pushkin had so much more to give, and his death was a great loss. Today, Pushkin is still remembered and respected. His works are taught in schools and universities all over Russia. People still read his poems, his stories, and his plays. His influence can be seen in many other writers who came after him. His style of writing changed the way people thought about literature. Before Pushkin, Russian literature was mostly about rich people and kings. But Pushkin wrote about common people and their feelings, making his works more real and relatable. Pushkin also helped to develop the Russian language. Before him, the language of literature was not the same as the language spoken by ordinary people. Pushkin made the Russian language more natural and more beautiful. He is often called the creator of modern Russian. Even today, when people study Russian, they read Pushkin's works to learn how to speak and write well. Many statues and monuments to Pushkin can be found in Russia and other countries. His name is famous not only in Russia, but also in other parts of the world. Pushkin's life and work continue to inspire many people, and his place in Russian culture will never be forgotten. He is a symbol of the power of literature to change the world and to touch the hearts of people. Pushkin's legacy is still very strong today. Writers, poets, and artists around the world are inspired by his work. His love for the Russian language and his ability to tell great stories has made him one of the greatest writers of all time. Pushkin's works will always be a part of Russian culture, and his name will live on for generations to come.